Hey guys, Hecon's here with another World of Warcraft gold making guide. Today we're going to be talking about patch 8.1 and potential gold making opportunities. First I'll show you guys a few of my mailboxes, and talk about a few of the ways I'm making gold right now. We'll then take a look at the data mine information from the PTR, which pertains to professions. And lastly, I'll share some tips and show you guys what I'm doing now to prepare. So in this realm I've been doing really well with jewel crafting. As you guys can see, I've been selling the item level 300 and 310 rings. And I was able to sell the 310s, which are the epics, for between 36.1k all the way up to 47.5k after the auction house cut. You can see that the item level 300, which are the rares, they don't sell for very much. I'm getting around 1k for them. But the epics are going for a lot on my realm. We'll look at the PTR notes later and see that there aren't any new rings added, as far as I know, so this should still be a really good market. Each of the rings does require an expulsum to make, but as I said, the epics on my realm are going for between 36k and 50k. 47.5 after the auction house cut, so it's definitely worth it, and hopefully it carries into 8.1. They might add new rings, but I imagine a lot of the materials to craft that will be the same, so I think we can expect similar prices. So on this banker, I'm still doing a lot of the same things as in the previous videos to make gold. You can see that a lot of the sales are from Dark Moon decks, weapon enchants, ring enchants, and BOE flips. So on Sunday I did around 1.5 million gold on this character. I think I had 88 mail, and since then we've sold around 50 things, so these would have been sales from Monday, which was yesterday, and earlier today. Pretty good. If we add this amount to the first two pages, it should add up to a little over 2 million gold. I think around 2.2 million gold in 3 days, so pretty solid sales over the weekend, and not bad sales on Monday and Tuesday, so again, the Dark Moon decks, ring enchants, weapon enchants are a really good source of gold for me. You can see the, if I can find a sale, Fathoms got reset over the weekend, so I was able to capture a bunch of sales at 100k. You can see two of them here. One on Sunday, 95k after the auction house cut. And then this would have been yesterday. No, I think yesterday afternoon. Sold another one at 100k or 95k after the auction house cut. And then with the Tuesday reset, you can see a lot of the people ended up resetting the enchants. I was actually gone all day, so I wasn't able to do it, but someone did end up resetting the enchants. Now you can see I sold a few of the Versatile and Masterful Navigation at over 3k. And just yesterday, I think I was selling them for, you can see 1k here. Actually, a lot of 1k sales. These might actually be the ones that I had listed on the auction house earlier today, and someone ended up buying those to reset. And now we're getting 3k for some of the enchants. And these are the weapon ones, which cost probably like 600 or 700 gold to make now. And that's if you overpay for your Veiled Crystal. Really good profit on these. Probably around like 2.5k profit for the weapon enchants at 3k. And the Dark Moon decks, being able to sell the Fathoms for 100k is pretty insane. I mean, it's probably costing me under 5k to make each deck, so it's 90k profit right there per deck. I think they're down to around 60k right now, which is still pretty good. 50k profit on a 5k crafting cost is pretty good. I'm happy with that. So in this round, I've just been selling the tailoring goods as well as engineering items. You can see that I ended up selling the incendiary ammunition for between 540 gold each, all the way up to 800 gold each for the engineering turn-in for the last Warfront turn-ins. I also sold a bunch of the Spirit of Freedom battle flags for around 1k, and a ton of the deep sea bags for between 1.1k all the way up to 1.4k. The two big sales on this page, however, are the Sky Golem. Managed to get 80.6k for that one. Remember that we're not going to get flying with 8.1, so there should still be a demand for these mounts, and you should definitely be doing the daily cooldown for engineering to craft these. End up getting 855k for the Mecha Mogul MK2. The last one sold for over 1 million gold, so it's not bad. 150k less, but I ended up getting 855k, which is roughly 7 tokens. I think the prices on these are going to come down though with 8.1, specifically when we get the new raid and the eye level cap goes up. The mythic zeros that you need to farm for the items to craft the MK2 are going to get a lot easier to solo farm. There's going to be a lot more people trying to craft these. More MK2s in the markets is going to bring the prices down. I think it's still worth farming though. 855k is quite a bit of gold for a lot of people. A lot of gold makers out there. Aside from the last boss, where you get the remote, everything else is pretty much solo farmable even now, so if you can get a fairly geared character with engineering, these are pretty easy to farm, and you can make a lot of gold with it. I also did end up buying the Circlet of Faith on this character. Ended up paying 125k for it, which is a lot more than I pay for my other tier 3 pieces, but this was the last piece that I need for the set, so definitely happy getting it for 125k. So now that we've looked at a few of my mailboxes, let's look at the PTR notes and talk about professions. You can see this is on Wowhead, and it's PTR build 27826. This was actually posted back in September. However, I haven't seen anything more recent, so this is what I'm basing my prep on, and hopefully the live version's the same, or at least similar. So you can see that the alchemists aren't getting any new recipes. However, they are getting pretty significant price reduction for making flasks and the healing and mana potions. So that should definitely impact the prices of herbs, as well as these flasks and the potions. For blacksmithing, looks like we're getting new 340 gear, both weapons and the armors. So I have the cutlass open. Let's take a look at one of the armors. So you can see that the reagents are pretty similar to what we're using now. Strum Silver Ore, Platinum Ore, the Elemental Flux. And yeah, I don't think the crafted gear now uses Expulsum, so this is a pretty big change to blacksmithing. You're going to need to shuffle for the Expulsum before you can craft these 340s, so that's one thing to remember when you're doing your prep. Make sure to have some Expulsum on your blacksmiths so you can craft these when 8.1's live. The weapons are the same. Storm Silver Ore, Platinum Ore, the Elemental Flux, and 1 Expulsum at rank 3 for the Cutlass. So it doesn't look like Enchanting's getting anything exciting. Some new scepters, which are the int one-handers. Yeah, the crafting cost is really low on these. Gloom dust, umber shards. The only thing you need to worry about are the expulsum. But definitely could be good money. So make sure to have expulsum on your enchanters. And then I think this is a new pet. Yeah. Wonder how bad the mats are. This pet is really cheap as well. Gloom dust, umber shard. Might be worth crafting at the beginning, but I can't imagine these selling for more than a couple hundred gold to maybe a couple thousand gold on some of the low pops. So nothing too exciting with enchanting. Engineering's getting some cost reductions as well on the consumables that they can use. And then they're getting a few new 340 items as well. These are pretty expensive to make. 6 expulsum at rank 1. A lot of ore as well, so if you're an engineer, you might want to start stockpiling the ore. Doesn't actually say the cost is 40 gold for rank 1, probably from your trainer. And then rank 2, probably 2 marks of honor. Yep. So yeah, you want to grind PvP and sit on a bunch of the marks of honor so you can purchase these upgrades. So at rank 1 you need 30 storm silver, 18 platinum ore, 6 expulsum. And then at rank 3 you only need 25, 15, 4. That's not much of a savings. It was 13, 18, 6 for the rank 1. Yeah. So you don't even really need to do the PvP. The differences between rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3 aren't that significant. Though if you're getting bottlenecked with the expulsum, 6 versus 4 is pretty significant. It's 50% less. Now 33% less. Yeah. And then time shifter. Not sure what that is. Probably a portal for BFA zones. Wonder if you can sell these. Probably not. Oh, it's a new res item. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if these are items that you can sell, but will be interesting to see how these work. It is usable in combat. So it's like a B-res item. Interesting. Not quite sure how those work and if you can sell them or not, but they're pretty cheap to make. Monelite ore, storm silver ore, and then the vendor item. So it might be worth keeping an eye on if you have an engineer. Inscription looks absolutely boring. Just new contracts, new offhands. Doesn't look like we're getting new Dark Moon decks. The 355s are pretty decent still. So as I said earlier, jewel crafting doesn't look like it's getting any new rings, so the only new item is the staff. Just close a few of these windows. So these take a lot of expensive gems. The owlseye is the most expensive gem on most realms, so if you have a jewel crafter, you might want to sit on a bunch of these gems. Buy them up when the demand is low, and then craft a few of these staffs and throw them up on the auction house. Yeah, the prices actually doesn't look too bad. You could probably craft it for a couple thousand gold, and if you're one of the first ones with the item up on the auction house, you can probably get at least 25k for it. Especially if you buy out all the cheap gems right now, you're going to be really competitive in terms of pricing, so yeah, if you have a jewel crafter, you should probably get on that. Leatherworking, a lot of new gear, because they have both leather and mail armor, whereas tailoring only has cloth and blacksmithing only has mail, or plate rather. Yeah, so for leatherworking, you want to start stockpiling the hardened tempest hide. Leather, this coarse leather is really cheap, so probably don't need to buy that ahead of time, but if you can get it cheap now, it's probably worth sitting on. Calcified bone as well. I saw a post by One by Gold on Twitter about this, and I actually ended up buying a bunch of these mats on like 5 or 6 of my realms last week, and I'll check on one of my realms later, but the prices were really low, so it's definitely worth sitting on, just buying them out and sitting on them until Tuesday. So what's the difference between leather and mail? Looks like the leather uses coarse leather, mail uses mistscale. Yeah, that's the only difference, so I would probably stockpile both. Or not both, but all of it. Hardened tempest hide, mistscale, calcified bone, and coarse leather. And a lot of the material should be really cheap right now, so do it now while the prices are low. That way you can craft it for really low price point and then sell it at a premium on Tuesday. And even if you don't end up crafting the armors, you can always try and flip the mats, because the prices definitely will go up on Tuesday when the leather workers are rushing to the auction house to buy these items. And tailoring, which is the last profession. Yeah, so the same as leatherworking, you want to stockpile the deep sea satin and the embroidered deep sea satin. At rank 3, you just need 1 expulsum plus these mats, so you should be actually pretty cheap to craft, especially if you can get the marks of honor to buy rank 2 and rank 3. And that's it, right? Now, cost reductions to cooking. If you do any gold making with feasts, that is insane. Prices of these are going to crash. So I made a shopping list of all the mats you're likely going to need with the 8.1 profession recipes. I'll leave a copy of this TSM string in the description below, so you guys can use it as well for your shopping. These are just the mats that we talked about earlier. Calcified bone, mistscale tempest hide, hardened tempest hide, shimmerscale, coarse leather, and bloodstained bones for the leatherworking stuff. Tidespray linen, embroidered deep sea satin, and the deep sea satin for tailoring. The ores, storm silver ore, monelite ore, platinum ore. And then I also included the 3 gems that you need for the jewel crafting staff: amberblaze, scarlet diamond, and owlseye. The amberblaze and owlseye are actually ones that I use in my rings as well, so I'm definitely going to pick these up at 40 gold. That is really good for amberblaze. And then, as I said earlier, the leatherworking stuff is really cheap right now. You can see calcified bone. The cheapest right now is a stack of 200 at 26 copper each. So, and there's tons of it. You can see a bunch in, most of it's like 1 silver. The cheapest stuff's like a quarter silver. So it's not going to take very much gold to buy up my auction house. So I'm going to buy these out. Pretty much everything. I think the calcified bones, mistscales, tempest hides, those are going to be really good investments. Low risk. And potentially high reward, depending on how good the sales are for the 340 leatherworking goods. And then, of course, the tidespray linen. That's what I'm using to get expulsum, crafting the tailoring bracers and scrapping those. But prices are actually pretty high right now. I'm sitting on around, I think, 50,000 tidespray linen, and I picked up a bunch at around 5 gold each, so not too worried about the tidespray linen. Might stock up on more of the deep sea satins, however. 25 gold's pretty decent. The embroidered stuff's going for 10 gold. There isn't very much up in the auction house right now. But yeah, you'll have to determine what's a good price on your realm. It's obviously going to vary on your market and how much you're willing to risk, how much you're willing to invest in, so I'll leave the string, like I said, in the description below, and you guys can use it. So in addition to stocking up on cheap mats, you also want to stockpile some expulsum. The best shuffle right now is probably with tailoring. You're going to want to buy out the tidespray linen, craft those into bracers, and then scrap those. The drop rate for the expulsum is around 1 in 6, so you can factor that into your cost. You guys can see I have quite a bit of shuffling to do over the weekend. I have over 50,000 of the linen on this guild bank alone, and more on alts, so gonna have plenty of expulsum for 8.1. Some leatherworking stuff, coarse leather, bloodstained bones, and then I have all the other stuff that we talked about earlier on a different tune. The hardened tempest hide, mistscale, and calcified bone. And lastly, if you think you need to be really competitive with your price, you can farm the Marks of Honor in PvP. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy 8.1 and make tons of gold. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon. Hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Late.